So I'd say the flow isn't as much to independence and RIA as you think. What you see in the headlines and Advisor Hub and some of the other organizations out there that are covering the space, you see billion-dollar teams making a move to the RIA channel or independence, because that's much more exciting than someone that made a move from Merrill and made a move over to UBS. That's just, there's not as much to write about. There's not much emotion in that story. I would tell you that most conversations that I have start off with the advisor being very curious about the RIA channel and the independent channel, but very many times advisors still wind up going to some sort of other employee channel. Maybe it is another wirehouse. Maybe it's an RBC, a Janney, a Raymond James on the employee side. But the interest in independence is there like it's never been there before. It's not as much about the upfront check, and a lot of financial advisors, especially younger financial advisors, are open to letting go of that big upfront check to have the longer term superior economics, to have the flexibility of a multi-custodial platform and be able to create their client experience soup to nuts, building their own tech stack.
Why do you see that move though? Why the ones that are exploring the independence and the RIA, why do they end up going to the wirehouse? Is it the fear that they're just going to have too much responsibility with maybe handling their own OSJ stuff or creating the lease? And is it the lack of turnkey that they see out there? Or is it just the ease of like, hey, it's just easier to go somewhere where everything's kind of covered? Why do you think that's happening?
So I think a lot of it is misconception. I think a lot of it is team dynamics, and a little bit is the turnkey part that we were talking about before. But in terms of misconceptions, when you've been told for 30 plus years by your branch manager, your regional director, that you need the brand to build your business, that if you leave, you're only going to bring 50% of your business with you, or if you go independent, you're going to be so busy inside of the business that you're not going to have time to go outside and grow your business, you kind of start to believe those things. And then typically we're working with larger teams and there's team dynamics. Maybe there's a 45-year-old financial advisor that's part of the group and they have 20 plus years left in the business. There's a lot more runway for them to reap the benefits of independence. But maybe there's an older partner where they're 65 years old, they're 70 years old, they're happy. They don't want to go through a 6-month transition. They'd rather just sell directly to Merrill Lynch or Wells Fargo. And there's not as much upside for them to take advantage of. So there's a lot of internal conflict like that, especially with complex teams. People want to go in different directions. And then recently in the last 4 years, I mean, there's been a ton of turnkey options in independence where a firm will say, hey, I was a wirehouse advisor. I know all the fears and concerns. While you're still at Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, Edward Jones, wherever it is, we're going to take down the office space. We're going to handle your payroll, build your website, build your brand, all of the things that you don't want to do. So day one, you could literally just cut the ribbon to your new independent office and you're off to the races. And the only thing you have to worry about is bringing over your clients. I think those are the things that have brought some of those really large teams over that would have never went over in the first place. But there still is a lot of employee to employee movement.